Yo man, and welcome back to another video. I'm not gonna lie. I watched the video of the police interaction with Henry Novak, and then man, that was the most disgusting video I've seen in a minute. I'm gonna be real. Because it's like you know what it is, right? This politician, right? It was funny that I saw a clip of this, but I wanna watch the full thing with you, man. It just shows the level of like cognitive dissonance that this guy has, right? Instead of actually speaking about why the guy felt comfortable using this as a defense, right? And why it actually worked for a while. He wants to attack the people that are calling out this line of defense, right? This defense of racism, and why it worked for this guy for a little bit, of course. And why a lot of people use it as a defense even when they are the problem. When they're the aggressor, of course. And this guy, he went automatically straight back into defense mode. First of all, I don't understand how the hell. I understand religious exemption, quote unquote. I don't understand how bros can walk around with swords. And I saw a video on Twitter of like the guy who I forgot his name. The guy who killed the kid. Like months ago, he was in a road rage incident and he backed out the knife again, the sword. It was like, bro, it was borderline a sword. I said, what the hell? How are they allowed to walk around with it? It's crazy.
I am deeply saddened by the murder of Henry Novak, and my heartfelt condolences to his family, whose pain was made all the worse by the police wrongly handcuffing Henry, believing the lies of the violent murderer.
And his family.
And that stripped Henry of his dignity in his agonizing final moments.
Absolutely.
Something which should never happen again.
Yes.
But also, Mr. Speaker, what's very galling is that the likes of Reform, Restore, and the far right decided to politicize people's pain.
Oh, you see? You will never ever hear this defense when people in the United Kingdom, right? People in the United Kingdom were out here shouting out George Floyd, out here protesting in the UK, bearing in mind this shit happened in the United States. Nobody said, why are you politicizing the career criminal dying? You know what I'm saying? Nobody even questioned, why are we doing this in the UK when this happened across the water? It's not politicizing. It's simply calling out the discrimination, in their words, of course, that was used. And in their words, it's positive discrimination. You know what I'm saying? For historical injustices, of course. And I'm just saying, calling out this act, especially after seeing the video, there's nothing wrong with that. Because if people are allowed to walk around with weapons, regardless of the reason, then that's just crazy. They shouldn't be allowed, I'll be honest.
Attacking the Sikh community.
There is no, I'm gonna do research onto this because I actually want to understand, how is that even justified? I understand the turban, I understand the hijab and all that. What is the historical of the weapon? What I'm trying to understand.
Or wearing the kirpan and wanting it banned, even though the kirpan was not used in this violent attack. And they've decided to scapegoat and throw under the bus an entire community based on the actions
of one family. Yes, no one's throwing the whole community under the bus. We're simply saying, why are they allowed to use a weapon? Why are they allowed to walk around the streets with a sword or a knife while it is illegal for anybody else to do it?
Of one violent murderer. And let me also give them a history.
You're meant to be going through the chair, not across the chamber.
My apologies, Mr. Speaker. And let it not be said that we see them and we will stand up to them. And we let me also give a short history lesson, Mr. Speaker.
Order. I started this session by tolerance and respect.
Order.
And I don't expect to be pointing at each other and attacking each other. You work through the chair. We want an orderly chamber that is respectful. This does nobody any good. I think...
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, because hundreds of thousands of Sikh soldiers bravely fought alongside British soldiers during both World Wars. Tens of thousands made the ultimate sacrifice proudly.
I have a problem with these type of people, right? When I say these type of people, I mean people who use history as an excuse the stuff that's happening now. He's not using it as an excuse, but I'm saying like this. Anything that happens to people before you were born is irrelevant to you using it as a defense. I'm not saying it is irrelevant. History is important, most definitely. But you know when people like to say, for example, women have been held back for thousands of years. You haven't. You haven't. You were born in a day and age where you have every opportunity. Why are you complaining? Why are you using them as an excuse? Were you held back? No. What is that? What is the relevance of what is happening to you? What is the relevance? Please tell me. Like, you see, I hate that type of thing. Like, I hate that type of, like, oh yeah, gerrymandering, you know what I'm saying? The Jim Crow laws. You don't live in that time. You live in a normal day and age where everything is legal for you and you have every opportunity. So why you keep bringing this up? Because you want an excuse in case you fail? We can't confirm.
Wearing their turban and their kirpan. So what reassurances can my right honourable friend, the Home Secretary, give to the Sikh community, which is both horrified and ashamed at this brutal murder, and they are fearful of their right to freely and peacefully practice their faith?
What is the faith of the knife?
Well, let me reiterate for my honourable friend, religious freedom is a very important principle that this government respects, that has been respected by different governments of different party political persuasions.
Hold on, question. You know religious exemption and religious freedom, right? Is it only tied to government accepted religions, right? For example, if somebody started a religion, like, you know, like the Mormons, they started a religion and all that. If somebody started a religion and they were legally, like, their religious exemption would be a AR-1594, would that be legally allowed? I'm just curious.
And I'm sure that that will continue to be the case. As I said in my statement, we are not a country that collectively punishes an entire group of people for the actions of individuals.
That's a lie.
The responsibility for this murder rests with the murderer, and he has now faced justice
and his family
and been sentenced, and that is the right way for these matters to proceed.
I can't, like, the police officer should suffer some consequences too.
On the tone of this debate, I think it would be right for the whole House to remember, I'm sure Henry Novak's family and his friends are watching, and the way we conduct ourselves in this place can of course be passionate, but must not result in name-calling and also in just shouting different political views here, because I don't think we should all stand for a politicisation of this murder. There are lessons to...
Yo, I would wish this energy was had across the board. They never had this energy across the board. This is the problem. This is the people. This is why people call this out, right? There's no consistency in their line of thinking. I'm sorry to break it to you. There is no consistency in what they think. There is no consistency.
To be learnt, and I'm sure further issues to be drawn from what has happened once the IOPC has concluded its investigation. I'm sure we will debate them here in the future as well, but the way that we conduct that debate matters just as much, in my view, as what is said.
All right, mate.
Lewis Cocking.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is an appalling and sickening tragedy. Words cannot express my heartbreak for Henry's family and fury at the system that has led to this. We have all seen the body-worn video, and in a previous role, as part of my job, it was my job to review that footage and give an independent judgment. In this case, it is clear to everyone that the police did not use appropriate and proportionate action. There are many good police officers who work hard to keep us safe. But on that night, those police officers displayed no concern for Henry. Immediate actions should have been taken to try and save his life. But instead, Henry was put in handcuffs and mocked as he lay dying. Those police officers have serious questions to answer. Can the Home Secretary explain what action the government will now take to ensure that every officer involved is held accountable for the decisions that they have made, and so that the public can have confidence that we'll all be treated equally under the law?
Of course.
Well, let me give the honourable gentleman that assurance by referring to the fact that the IOPC is investigating this matter, and they will be free to conclude that investigation using all of the powers that they have and also all of their evidence-gathering abilities. He will know, having reviewed such footage in the past. Of course, what is publicly available is 3 minutes of a much longer incident, but the IOPC will be able to review every bit of body cam footage, all of it in its totality, as well as there's other evidence that sheds light on the context of the incident and also what the police officers saw and how...
There is no justification. After that 3-minute video, I don't think anything else could be shown after. Even if they flipping spawned the ambulance right after that video ended, the lack of respect that they had. I've been stabbed. Have you, mate? Absolutely disgusting. I'm gonna be real. And then the show, oh my god, his people's on the... Come on, bro. Like, no respect. And they dragged him from under the car. Like, my question is, what did they think? He just got jumped.
They reacted to it. The IOPC is free to make recommendations not just on specific conduct but also on wider lessons that should be drawn. Let me reassure him, once the IOPC has reported and made its findings, I will make sure that I personally update the House.
Jen Craft.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to pay tribute to my constituent Henry Novak, a bright young man at the start of a life that held so much promise. The turnout at his funeral and the outpouring of community support show that he had an impact well beyond his young years.
I'm trying to understand why did this get buried for so long? Like, why was this not in the news earlier? This shit happened in December. Like, why was it not public? Like, when I say public, I mean, like, you know how they can make it public. Let's be real.
I'd like to pay tribute to his family, Mark Novak, particularly his father. Many here have quoted his words, calling that Henry's death does not lead to more division and hatred.
Shut up.
His sister Olivia made space in the early days of her own grief to support Henry's friends. I think that speaks to this family and their courage and their bravery and their dignity in dealing with one of the most tragic and devastating
I love the way these
things.
people are using his dad's words as a defense for them trying to like make it seem less than, right? Let's be so honest. The dad said what was politically correct because he didn't want consequences on himself. If we're being real, the dad said what was politically correct because he didn't want to like stoke the fire and then like, you know what I'm saying, he gets fired or whatever. He didn't want to be involved, but he also had to be politically correct. Everyone who has seen that video, everyone who's read the documents of the trial of all that, can come to their own decision and understand how crazy this was and how much energy was given into the claim of being a racist. You know what I'm saying? How much weight is put on that word. That word is irrelevant now. I'm gonna be real. That word is absolutely diluted. It's been used so much. It's just BS.
That any of us could ever imagine going through.
That word don't mean that no more.
Like many in this house, I've watched the body-worn video camera footage that was released last night, and I watched it with horror. I cannot imagine what Henry's family felt seeing that and knowing that that was their son's last moments. They expected help from the police, but when Henry lay dying, what he got was accusation and he was disbelieved. This can never happen again. I would like to ask the Home Secretary what she will do to meet Henry's family's calls. First of all, to tackle the national emergency that is knife crime.
All right. How are they going to tackle the national when it's knife crime? When these people have a religious exemption to carry a sword? Stop this, bro. Man, let me know in the comments down below what you guys want me to react to next. I'm going to catch you man tomorrow. Peace.